Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Friday, November 9th. We are on the European account. We need to play 3 more Warlock class cards and then we're just kind of done. We've got a few games to talk about, but we're kind of having a laid-back experience. I probably do need to speed up and start covering these games, though. We have a game on Steam, for example here, called Enemyist, which looks like a awful MS Paint Asteroids clone for 59 cents. That's not going to make it to the list. Let's see. GameIndustry.biz has an article, Big Box VR secures $5 million in seed funding round. Funding to support the development of upcoming VR Battle Royale game called Population 1. I've never heard of Big Box VR or Population 1, so this is more of an inside baseball article than I actually care to read, but I'll point it out there. We've got a game on Steam called Tin Hats that looks interesting. It looks like it might be a toys running around Santa's workshop type game. Let's see. I'll watch this video as I play over here and see what's really going on. That's 1 of 3 that needs to be played. That's 2 of 3. Oh, it's not Santa's workshop to start off with. It's just an animated family of sorts with little tin toy soldiers. So it's like a toy maker.
Is someone injured?
It seems like the daughter, who they were showing in the trailer, somehow maybe died. That doesn't seem like that story has anything to do too much with what's going on, other than maybe it's the daughter that you're playing as a ghost. That might be the case.
Someone call for the doctor. It's playtime. Job done.
Yes, this is an early access game that requires VR. That's $19.99. I guess I'm still willing to put VR games on the follow list, so I'll put Toy Hearts. It's not called Toy Hats, it's called Tin Hearts. I'll put it on the follow list and we'll see what happens there, but there's a decent chance it's not going anywhere. It's not going to make it onto the actual wish list. Will die at the follow list level. We've got a game on Steam called Optica, which looks like a Unity one-screen puzzle game. For as many of these that come out, which there's not a ton of them, they all seem to be at least moderately good enough for me to want to play. $9.99 is way too expensive, but yep, it seems polished enough. Honestly, if you're a new developer of video games, you should make a one-screen Unity puzzle game. That will probably be your best bet. Don't get too ambitious. Don't try to make some like asset flip first-person shooter game that will look awful and be very obviously bad. We have a game on Steam called Enhanced. It looks kind of old with the black bars on the side, and I'm not seeing anything here that makes me want to play this. It's $4.99. Let's see, it seems like it's just a bad platformer. Yeah, I don't see anything here that interests me. Let's play this.
Unleash me.
And this. We have another game on Steam called Master Pool. Early access, requires VR. Do I want to play pool in VR? Maybe. Do I want to play this pool game? No. The graphics in the background seem a little too asset flippy and just not polished enough. If you were going to play pool in VR, you wouldn't be on the front lawn looking at a building. That just seems kind of ridiculous. So that tab's getting closed. Let's see. What do we want to do here? We could do this.
Yes, it's playtime. Your soul
This.
is mine.
That.
Job done.
Do that. Next we have a game on Steam called 1 Hour, 1 Life. I'm fairly certain that there was another game by a similar name. Or maybe this was just talked about and pre-ordered. It looks really different now. So, let's see. The idea of 1 Hour, 1 Life sounds a lot better than the other game, which I think was 1 minute, 1 life. Or something like that. This is $20. So I want to see if this developer has another game. He has the Castle Doctrine, which was, I think, a game that was kind of popular, but it's mixed reviewed now. Yeah, I know people hyped this game up and talked about it, but it, yeah, didn't have any polish to it. So yeah, I'm gonna not add this to the follow list because it's just in such bad company as a game. I don't have any confidence that they're gonna make a good game after they've released 4 or 5 mixed review games. Next we have a game called Poker Stars VR, which really is going to come down to reviews. It looks relatively pretty for a poker game. I'm assuming this is not real gambling. It requires VR, but it's free to play. So I may put this on the fall list. I guess I will, even though it's early access and requires VR. It would be really, really nice though if it didn't require that online. Let's see.
Your magic shall not save you.
Someone call for the doctor. Your soul is mine.
Next we have a game on Steam called Sporky, which looks like it's a platformer. Looks like it might be a mobile game port too. This feels like it's probably a bad platformer attempting to be something along the lines of a Super Meat Boy clone. When you're seeing some dashing, you're seeing hacking and slashing. Although this might be solid enough gameplay that this might be actually worth playing. Yeah, this one's a little questionable. Like I kind of feel like this has to be on the wish list, even though I'm seeing a lot of spikes, and I think I'd be afraid of a game like this for just being a rage-inducing style of gameplay.
Soul is mine.
We could hit that, I guess. See what this developer has made before Sporky. They made Stories of Betham Full Moon, which was rated positive. I haven't heard of it. Okay, well, I'll leave Sporky on the follow list. We'll see what the reviews say on it. Next, let's see. How we gotta play? Draw a card. Let's see. Play this. And this. And this.
Your soul is mine.
There you go. Next we have a game on Steam called Egress, which looks like it's a battle royale early access game. Seems to have a tendency in all the screenshots to show the behinds of all the characters. Hero-based PvP arena game. Mixed reviews. Closed servers or disabled beta keys will no longer work. Early access is now available. I don't think people would do that. Yeah, people are not liking it. It doesn't have that many reviews. But if it's negative already, what do you get from that? Let's see.
Your magic shall not save you.
They're saying the game is very laggy. And I guess technical problems in an early access are kind of to be expected. So the thing about a hero player versus player game would be who is behind it. And in this case, the developer behind Egress has only made one other game that is mixed reviewed, and it's called Beastarium, and it came out December 6, 2016. So yeah, because it's a company that really hasn't made a battle royale player versus player game before, why in the world would you trust that? Sure, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds hadn't made a battle royale game before either, but that's kind of the exception that breaks the rule. Now we move over to the Asian account. Now I think maybe by the time I'm done streaming, if I go back to the European account, there might be one more daily quest to do, but depends on when I'm going to be done streaming here. Gematsu has an article. Dragon Quest Builders 2 introduces Materials Island, which seems to be more materials. Honestly, though, with the new... Let's do a watch and learn. With the new additions to the latest snapshots of Minecraft, Minecraft is just so far ahead whatsoever compared to any Minecraft clone that you'd be really crazy to play like Dragon Quest Builders. Somebody submitted a fan suggestion for a card in Hearthstone where it was a character that was a briber, a legendary card. You play it and it says if the opponent concedes in the next turn, he gets 10 gold. 10 gold might be a little low to make somebody concede, particularly if you're playing in ranked play, but it would be great for casual players and new players to say, hey, why don't we just all agree to play this? We'll give each other gold that way. Of course, the better way to do it, instead of having a card like that, which people would almost never actually agree to concede, why not just pay out 10 gold after every proper Hearthstone game in general, instead of paying out 10 gold every 3 games? That would triple the amount of gold in it available, and let new players get more cards and still be free to play, which is not what Activision Blizzard wants, of course, but it's what would help make the community more successful. Next we have a game on Steam called Quantum Retribution. This looks like an actual horror game. It's not quite as polished as some of the ones that are just asset flip ones, but I think there's an actual game here, at least enough to put it on the wish list. $4.89 discounted, multiple endings, which sounds interesting, although I'm not 100% sure on that. Like, how many different times would you want to play a horror game? Guess that would be the question.
I wonder.
This game, Quantum Retribution. I'm watching the trailer. Guess we need to come over here and actually play. Well, actually, I'm not playing. I'm just watching. So that wasn't my fault at all. I'm just watching and learning right now. So yeah, moving on. We have a game on Steam called Ponkle. Looks like a cell phone game. Pretty generic, pretty basic, and definitely not something to the level of quality where I would actually put it on the far list. Yeah, it's pretty bad. I don't know how much this actually is news until Game Freak, the developers of Pokemon, actually start making content, but Game Freak has opened a YouTube channel and a Twitter account, which does point more than anything to just a realization that Game Freak, as a Japanese company, has realized that YouTube and Twitter are important, and arguably maybe YouTube and Twitter weren't until very recently that important in Japan. Of course, I'm a YouTuber, so I want to see YouTube successful around the world, so I can get more of an audience, and Twitter is a backup source that I use, so I'd like it to be more successful. Although, in all fairness, I think Twitter also needs to kind of reevaluate and shift what it is, because right now it's mostly a place where people go to follow celebrities and not a place where people go to communicate amongst other normal people. And that has led to celebrities thinking that Twitter is their own private playground and making demands of what should be a free speech platform to turn it into a censored platform, which is basically what it is becoming. There we go. I don't think we have to do the Tavern Brawl. Let's see. And we just need to win a Paladin or Priest game, I guess. And then I guess what we'll do is we'll switch back to the European account after a while. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know what else you could really say there. Is it? Yeah, we'll play some Asian account games just to get up and ranked, and then we'll try and switch to the European account and see if maybe there is another daily quest that needs to be done. We've got a game on Steam called 7 Minute Hop. It's clearly a cell phone, one of these jump games. Even at 59 cents, it's not worth putting on the list. It's not worth owning. Gematsu has an article, Yi 7 based smartphone action RPG Ys Altago will be released in Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Macau. So, I guess good for them. I don't know if this game would come further to the west. I would guess the answer to that is probably no. If they're slowly announcing that, oh, it's coming to Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Macau, that's to say, oh yeah, we're releasing it to the Asian markets, but we're not releasing it to Europe or the Americas or anything like that.
The calm before the storm.
Let's see.
I fight.
We have a game on Steam called DJ Whip VR, which I think actually is a whip. So slightly different, I guess, than lightsaber, Beat Saber. But kind of ridiculous, certainly. I don't know. I guess if you were in VR and you wanted to swing a whip around, that's better than in real life swinging around a whip because you're gonna hurt yourself. But this is another VR game, and it seems like it's such a generic Beat Saber ripoff that
Let me think.
this is not the kind of VR game that I'd put on the follow list and maintain. What I'm looking for is games that have like really good story in them, and I'd want to play them despite the fact that I might have to buy a VR headset. I really wouldn't want to play DJ Whip VR. I might if I own the game, certainly, or if I wanted if I got the game for free, but this is not a system seller, and this is not a game that needs to be played. Let's see. The Unreal Engine, well, more accurate, Epic Games has announced over $800,000 in Unreal Engine dev grants. So let's see. They gave
Access denied. Photonic burst.
They gave a film and cinema grant to something called 100 Flowers of God by 3D World Studios. They gave a tool and plugin grant to something called Animotion Motion Composers and Animotion BLK. 100 Flowers of God, by the way, is the current working title. They gave a film and cinema VR grant to a game called Awake Episode 1, which I believe I added that to the follow list. They gave an independent game grant to a game called Black Iris by Hexa Game Studios. They gave an independent game grant to Botnet by Calvin Labs. They gave a film and cinema to Sign Tracer by Matt Workman.
Let me think.
+2.
Reporting for duty. I don't need any of you. Photonic burst. The battle.
Let's see. They gave an independent game grant to Close to the Sun by Storm in the Teacup. I've heard of Storm in the Teacup, but I'm not sure they've made anything before that. They gave a tool and plugin grant to Corel DS Unreal by ds.tools. So this is interesting to see just how many different industries are using Unreal these days. That you're having people making plugins to use Unreal, you're having people making games with it, and you're having people that are making movies with it.
Reporting for duty.
Let's see.
Minion already attacked.
The battle. Photonic burst.
As many of these as possible.
Job done.
See, they gave an independent game to Farm Folks by Overgrown, They gave an independent game grant to Jupiter and Mars by Tigertron, an independent game grants to Katsuo by USC Games. They gave an independent game grant to Corel by Panatumaca Barcelona. I mispronounced that, I'm pretty sure. They gave a Fine Arts / VR grant to Liminex Pylon 4D Art. They gave an independent game grant to Mini World VR by Sienna Studios. They gave an independent grant to Moving and Throwing by House Pixel Games.
For justice. Reporting for duty. The battle.
Let's go ahead and do our best to get rid of as many of these as possible. Let's see. They give a film and cinema grant to music videos by Noise Storm, a tools and plugin grant to Optium Thea Interactive, an independent game to Planetrism VR by Planetrism Team. They give an architecture grant to Real Estate in Virtual Reality by ReInVR. That's interesting. They give an independent game grant to Risk One's Neck by Royce Games. Some of these games, I definitely haven't heard of. A couple of them I have. Let's see, they give a film grant to Robots Design Academy by Eric Liu. And then they gave a learning resource grant to Russian U Unreal Engine 4 lessons and commentary. Wow, I'm not sure I'm on board with cheap Russian troll developers figuring out how to use Unreal Engine.
For justice.
But I mean, honestly, if they get better and they stop making low-effort games, that solves the problem that I complain about. It's not that I inherently think that cheap Russian troll game developers couldn't, at some point in the future, actually make a good game. Let's see, they gave an independent game grant by S.0.in, or I guess that's Sun, S.O.in, by Red G Studios. They gave an independent game grant to Spellbreaker by Proletariat Incorporated, and a film grant to The Abyss by Kamal Gunel. Jeez, if I knew this was going to be this long, I wouldn't have gone through all of it. See how many more there are. There aren't that many more. Let's see. They gave a independent game grant to The Cycle by Jaeger, an AR/VR grant to The Hydros Presents Immerse, Fine Arts grant to the Krimmer Collection Virtual Machine, a Tools and Plugin grant to Tools and Plugins by VR Professionals. Let's see. Let's attack here. And then draw cards. Swap the attack and health of all other minions. In the turn. They gave a film and cinema grant to an unannounced project by Kite and Lighten, and they gave a independent game grant to Unbound Worlds Apart by Alien Pixel Studios, and a tool and plugin grant to VR Cataract Training Solution by Surgical Mind. Interesting. Yeah, I think doctors who work on cataracts in particular could use a lot more training, and maybe doing that in VR would be helpful. So, what are we trying to do right now? I've forgotten what. Paladin or Priest victories. Or what we were looking for. Let's try Control Priest then. So, yeah, that was a long list of grants. Unreal Engine really is getting to the point where, well, Unreal Engine was always very good. It's Unity that's kind of the question mark. Because there's this possibility that Unity could get a lot better and compete on the exact same style of games that Unreal Engine games are usually used to make, because Unreal Engine games are usually used to make high level, high detail first person shooters style games, really realistic looking, where Unity games can do cartoony, simple, single screen Unity puzzle games that you really wouldn't use Unreal to make a single screen puzzle game. So Unreal needs to probably have some plugins to make more 2D games and more simplistic games and things that would run and work on both iOS and Android. And Unity needs to work the other way to cover the gap too. It'd be nice if we saw some better, more direct competition between the two companies. But, and you know, if a third engine came in there and was really good, that would be nice too. Alright. What do we want to do? Play a coin now, so we can have this on the field?
Let the pain speak to me.
Right away.
Maybe. We have a game on Steam called Of Gods and Men, The Daybreak Empire. If it wasn't for the fact that it had black bars on the side, I might have considered this as like an old school NES style RPG. That animation looks pretty bad. Yeah, $4.79 certainly is way too expensive too, so that's not making it to the wish list. Alright. How do we want to do this?
I wonder.
We play this. We hit this. We heal this. So I've got double the health, double the health. That would give me 20 right now. That's not enough to win, no. We have a game on Steam called Dark Dimensions Homecoming Collector's Edition. This is a Big Fish Games hidden object game, so notice that they've stopped to not tag them as hidden object games as much. They're trying to get away from that idea. There's a Dark Dimensions collection, so that would be something to consider if it weren't for the fact that all Big Fish hidden object games are like $12.99. Way too expensive. Alright, deal 3 damage to all other minions.
My hand is too full.
Oh, seriously? Went and effed that up. Let's see.
Right away.
Let's see. We have a game on Steam called Xeon 25. Looks like very pixely graphics for what looks like a shoot 'em up game. Yep, nothing here looks interesting. Early access for a game that should never be in early access for $2.79. Like, how are you gonna make a shoot 'em up game and make it early access?
I wonder.
Let's see. There's 10. I guess that's as high as you can ever get this. So I could go 20, 40, and attack. We have a game on Steam called Unsacrifice, which might be a puzzle wander around style game, or it might just be a horror or walking simulator game. Let's see. It's just a demo right now.
I must consider.
So I guess I'll put it on the follow list, and I'm gonna watch this.
Medicine insects.
Watch this. It's a VR game again. Let's see. It still very much feels like people just intentionally have these VR games, or they spend so much effort on making the game VR, and then they fail to do some of the basic things like make an actual game. Just gonna go ahead and double that in the turn, but I'll put Unsacrifice on the follow list and keep an eye on it. Next we have a game called V-Coil, which looks like a Tetris clone, a very bad Tetris clone. Wow, $1.79 discounted, not even worth that much.
Who to shoot?
GameIndustry.biz has an article. Blizzard acknowledges the mobile reality. Diablo Immortal didn't go down well at BlizzCon, but BlizzCon's Asian following makes a high-profile mobile strategy a necessity, not an option. So that's kind of fine. It's just really how they presented it. Like, had they been honest and said, "Look, we know the Asian markets love mobile. We know that there is an untapped potential of growing the fan base. So we're going to let's see.
Masterful. I can see it.
There we go. So we're going to come out with this mobile game, but don't worry for all you hardcore gamers. Diablo 4 is still in development. All they really needed to do is show a logo of Diablo 4, and that is it. And honestly, I would have had people gotten on stage and just talk about Diablo and what Diablo meant to them, and what it means, and what Diablo 4 is going to be for. I'm gonna play Spell Hunter. Let's see how Spell Hunter works on the Asian account. Yeah, it really was a lot of presentation problem. There's some other issues though. Having people pay a lot of money to go to BlizzCon and just making a bad keynote. They probably should have just canceled the keynote because they really didn't have a lot to show otherwise anyways. And they could have just had the BlizzCon and that would have been that.
I will fight with
Gamasutra has basically a very similar article where Activision Blizzard's revenues falter under Destiny 2's DLC after Destiny 2 DLC, quote, underperformed. This is another problem with investors also, that games are now required to make more money than is reasonable that they would ever make. And so even a very successful series like Destiny 2, which by all rights should be described that way, is getting reported as underperforming because the requirements are just too high. It's just over-demanding parents
Reporting for duty.
making neurotic companies. It's capital investors who know nothing about the video game industry and don't care about the video game industry. They just want to see constant, massive profits every quarter. Moving on, we have a game on Steam called Strange Encounter. That's tagged nudity. Free to play. Interesting. So I imagine this is just somebody walking in the field and getting abducted by aliens. See, I don't know. Let's see what else this developer has made. Nothing. I guess I could put this on the follow list and be really generous, and then we'll see what the reviews are. I think before I install or play any kind of game that is free to play, it needs to meet a kind of high level as far as just reviews and quality, because Strange Encounter in particular could be a really dumb game. I already talked about that article. You have a game on Steam called Breakout. It doesn't look like Arkanoid or Breakout, so that's slightly nice. Let's see what kind of gameplay it actually is. It really just seems like it's a hopper game. I saw another game like this where it's just a 3D version of a Minecraft hopper map. Why these would start to become popular, I have no idea. But yeah, this looks pretty boring. Let's see.
To my side.
Let's see, I'm not gonna attack. So yeah, I'm gonna close Breakout. It doesn't make it to the fall list. Let's see. Next we have a JRPG called Insurgents Chains of the Renegade,
Reporting for duty.
which, yeah, might be good, might be bad, might be an RPG Maker game. I'm gonna look at the video, $3.99. It's probably not in the top 100 of JRPGs, and I think for RPGs and JRPGs, I'm gonna have to start holding games to something like that standard, just because RPGs tend to take so freaking long to play. So I need to be more critical about what I add there. I need to make a special effort at some point to decide what JRPGs or RPGs I'm actually going to play, because it's just such a high commitment. And really, it really just starts with, like, what is the first JRPG I'm going to play, or what is the first RPG I play. This developer and this publisher hasn't made anything else, so I don't think Insurgents Chains of Renegade needs to be on the wish list. Or the follow list. Let's see. Secret track. Another secret. That. And attack.
Job's done. Get down!
Next we have a game on Steam called Siberian the Time Travel Warrior. Animation might be alright. Looks like it's a platformer beat 'em up
This
game.
guy's toast.
Yeah, this doesn't look too terrible. I think this game at $5.09 discounted looks at least good enough to deserve to be on the follow list until we can see what some reviews say and see how the community feels about it. Here's an interesting one. One of the YouTubers was talking about how he was making videos for this next game, and the video was having trouble with either showing up or getting posted, and the title of the video was Thief Simulator, stealing my first TV or something like that. And he's tweeting out publicly, hey, my video that's talking about me stealing my first TV is not on YouTube. I kind of like the idea of being a thief simulator game, because there was that TV show called To Catch a Thief that went on for a very long time, where it was talking about like securing your own house and being better at that. In the narrative of following an ex-thief who had prearranged to break into certain people's houses, and then you could see how it would go down. I like this idea of a game. It's $16.99. I'm gonna put this on the fall list. Now this could just be a very trolly game, too. I mean, it could be. It probably is somewhere along the same lines as where House Flip Simulator went. What was that? House Flipper. Like, that game was half realistic and then half video game. Let's see. Let's go ahead and just kill this guy. Job's done. Oh, darn it. Yeah, but Thief Simulator is gonna go on the wish list or the fall list. Might have some trouble playing that game just by the title alone, but I think if enough people start playing that game, which I bet a bunch of people will, they'll make some exceptions and program whatever software that is flagging those videos to not flag those videos. Easy target. Yeah, if I had enough to have played this, I think I could have won. GameIndustry.biz has an article. PlayStation Now has brought in $143 million in the last quarter. So while Sony is not doing the things I would like to see Sony do, as far as allowing games uncensored to come out, their PlayStation Now service certainly has worked well for them. I guess we can switch over right now. I mean, we're almost finished. We're gonna play maybe one or two more games, maybe three more games, and then I'm gonna be done with the news, and then that's just gonna be the weekend. And I'll come back and hopefully later this evening record part 2 of the letter games starting with the letter T for the end of the year wishlist cleanup videos. I know I'm talking about the end of the year Steam wishlist cleanup videos a lot, but nobody knows what they are or has seen them, so I'm hoping people kind of like those videos and appreciate them for how they work. Let's see. Let's try Token Shaman. What I'm really looking for, I guess Death Rattle Hunter, we'll try that. I'm looking for victories, particularly on the European account. That would be very much appreciated.
Rexar versus Uther. I will fight with honor. Let the hunt begin.
Let's see. Death Rattle, Magnetic. Anyways. Moving on, we have a game on Steam called Welcome to Princeland, which looks like it might be slightly more polished than the just usual asset flip game. Maybe? It's $4.49. I kind of not sure if this is a joke game or what, or a troll game. Well, it says it's a single player. over here and play.
Job done.
So the problem, and it's always the problem here, is that a game like this might be serious. This might be an attempt at a real game, or this might just be an asset flip game that's designed to look really good. I guess we could look to see if the developers have made something else. That'll be the next thing I do. Let's see.
Ooh, I wonder what this does.
Job's done.
See, I should have actually saved that card and then played these magnetics on him. And that would have been nice, better. Yeah, Welcome to Princeland does kind of look a little repetitive in the video game plays, and this developer hasn't made anything else. So I don't think this game would get enough polish. And also, I'm not sure a game like this would really even succeed in a post-Fortnite world. Truth might be that everybody would just play Fortnite or PUBG or something else. Or Rust, even.
Access denied.
See, next we have a game on Steam called Yearning, which looks like it's a Japanese horror game. There's a lot of dark screenshot syndrome happening here. Like, I'm not really sure if this is a game or not. It's $9.99. I'll watch this trailer and see if it gives me any more information. Okay.
Access denied.
Just end the turn there. I don't really understand the concept of, well, in this game, the character Yearning, the character is holding a paper lantern in Japanese paper lantern, and it's illuminating a circle around her. Why in the world would you make your game like that? Is my question. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Why have so much blackness in the background and the sides and edges? Okay, I'm seeing that there is some kind of black monster that follows around. This does seem like this is probably a pretty simplistic, you're getting chased by a monster style of game. I'm not sure I have too many of those on my wish list, or even want to have too many of them, actually. Let's see.
What is my purpose?
And do that. And then end the turn. See what else this developer's made. They've made one other game called Black Mist that didn't look too good and didn't get any reviews. I think Yearning is a bit of a stretch of a game, but I'll put it on the fall list. I'll see if over the course of a year people actually play it and review it, because I suspect they won't.
I comply.
TechRaptor has an article, get energized with the limited edition Pac-Man Red Can Bowl. No. Pac-Man Red Bull can. Interesting. I don't think I'd really want to drink Red Bull. And honestly, the can artwork doesn't look that unique or cool looking. They could have probably done a much better job.
Converting stored.
GameIndustry.biz has an article. Chinese government, quote, just doesn't care if the game industry goes bust, in quotes. At Level Up K1, 505's Games, Thomas Rosenthal explored the upheaval caused by the freeze on game approvals in China and the uncertainty still to come. So, and here's an interesting quote. Quote, the assumption that Tencent was very linked to the Chinese government failed when we saw the Monster Hunter issue, which I think the Monster Hunter issue would have been Monster Hunter getting not approved or something. Well, you would have thought Tencent games would have been excluded from this, excluded from the hiring freeze, but they really weren't. Let's hit this. See how that works. There we go. What else do we have as far as quotes? Quote, it's very difficult to see who's going to lead, who's going to stifle the regulations and supervise the industry moving forward. Yep. Quote, Steam is by far the biggest channel in China and it is an unwanted result from a government perspective of the approval process. End quote. So yeah, people are not happy. Particularly this guy's not happy with the Chinese video game licensing freeze. So yeah, that's an article. Here's an interesting article, GameIndustry.biz, and this is probably a lesson to all YouTubers, including myself. YouTube backtracks ban on YouTuber who assaulted Red Dead suffragette. Now, assaulted is a loaded yellow journalist term because, I mean, he's in the video game of Red Dead Redemption 2 punching a virtual character who happens to be a female suffragette who is still in no way no more human than any of the other virtual characters, which you've been freely allowed to punch and shoot throughout so many games, including Red Dead Redemption 2. What happened here, in my understanding here, is that one YouTuber particularly started getting a lot of views for doing that one action a lot, and he was milking it for all he could get. So there was multiple videos that were of him punching and then doing other kind of nasty things to this suffragette character. The subtitle to this article is Controversial Clips Restored but Now Age Restricted. Deletion blamed on a misinterpretation of the guidelines. And see, that's on a bigger issue. The more important thing here to realize is that the people allowed to delete videos on YouTube don't know what the guidelines are, because the guidelines are constantly changing and shifting as the wind shifts. Now, arguably, all Red Dead Redemption 2 footage maybe should be age-gated, but that would never happen. So I don't see how this footage is really much different than any other videos. There probably, almost certainly, are clips on YouTube of people punching other male characters in Red Dead Redemption and doing all kinds of like violent acts on them. I would say also, as far as a political movement, the suffragettes are the first wave feminists, and while not everybody agreed with them, in fact they called them terrorists, I think, in their day, the truth is nobody realistically is going to disagree with what first wave feminists were asking for, like the right to own property, the right to vote, the right, I think, to divorce, the rights, things like that. Like they are not the annoying extreme third wave feminists that exist now, and that's just a bad expression there. Way to express that. I could go further in this article. It just, for my part, it's important that even if something is getting a lot of tractions, to be careful and not get your videos deleted or your channel banned. As a YouTuber, and it's also important for YouTube to start explaining itself a lot better.
Time's up. Let's do this.
Like, as far as what its rules are and what it isn't, because I don't really understand, like, I don't even really understand what the rule is that they're claiming he violated.
I wonder.
Let's see, other prominent YouTubers, including Keem and PewDiePie, apparently complained about the videos being taken down. So that's the reason they got put back up. And let's face it, this YouTuber is probably not going to be the next PewDiePie, just because he got a few good hits on the search engine algorithm. And it probably says something about the search engine algorithm too, that video is getting recommended and viewed. Let's see, the quote here is, "We reviewed the video and we determined that it should be age restricted as they were not community guidelines violations. The channel will be reinstated. All 8,000 videos will be rolled back to the channel." So this guy had 8,000 videos that were deleted, basically, and now have to be undeleted. And so, yeah, community guidelines versus, I guess, ad-friendly guidelines. And in the end, because they age-gated it, he still can't run ads on that, so that YouTuber is not making money on these videos. He might as well, put him private at that point. Or, because now he's got to work and he's got to try and recover. Let's see. Somebody has a challenge a friend. Let's see.
Rexa versus Anduin.
The light shall bring victory.
Let the hunt begin.
We'll concede this.
Well fought.
We concede this game. And we'll let him challenge me. Because I'll take 80 gold. So I'll just take a second. There we go. And what do? We'll play Freeze Mage. It's nice though to see that YouTube is at least not completely kowtowing to reactionists or extreme SJWs, but I don't think this is the beginning of a new day at YouTube where free speech is celebrated and people can put up more videos that they want to put up, regardless of how detestable it might be to other people. Let's see. We don't need to talk about that.
None will survive.
Well met.
Turn. Techraptor has an article talking about a game called Gris, G-R-I-S. I'm not sure if it's out yet though. So let's see. It is on Steam. So I guess I'll put it on the fall list. It's coming out December 13th. Though, so it's not out yet. So I'm not gonna put games that are brand new, like that aren't out yet, on the fall list. I potentially should, but if it's If it's popular enough, people will let me know, and I'll catch it probably on what's on Steam. We have a game on Steam called Hellsign, which looks like it might be a isometric action-adventure game of some sort. Early access for $14.99. What else has this developer made? Nothing. I can't really see a lot here, but I see some menus. Probably too many menus. And a lot more menus. A lot more menus. And some conversation. So I'll watch this video, but I imagine that what's going to happen is I'll have to I'll have to put it on the follow list and see how it actually plays. Yeah, it's gonna have to just go to the follow list. GameIndustry.biz has another article. Activision Blizzard share drop a further 11%. Weaker than expected results and dips in engagement worry shareholders. Let's see, when was this article done? February 9th, today. So, yeah, Activision Blizzard shares are dropping like crazy. Is this the time to try and buy out Activision Blizzard? Maybe, but that would certainly be for like somebody with millions and billions of dollars. It would be kind of awesome if Microsoft came in and bought Activision Blizzard, put all their games on Steam instead of the Activision Battle.net launcher, and they started porting all those games to the Xbox One and Xbox 360. I don't think if, say, I don't think it would be that good if Sony bought Activision Blizzard, or if Nintendo bought Activision Blizzard. Although, you know, Nintendo could do it, it probably wouldn't be too terrible, but then Nintendo would probably pull all their games off of the PC. And if Sony did it, Sony might pull some games off PC too. Let's see. 2 damage and freeze them. Yeah. And if you're just like an individual investor, it'd be really crazy to invest in Activision Blizzard because it might go bankrupt and then your shares wouldn't be worth anything. Next we have a game on Steam called The Witch's Tale, which says it's a casual game. It looks like it might just be a match 2 game. No, it has a variety of puzzles. $3.59. It doesn't seem like it's actually a horror game or a hidden object game. It really does look like it's just some varieties on match 2. Okay. 4 damage to everybody. Play that. Little jigsaw puzzles. This is $3.59. Let's see what else this developer's made. Well, this developer has 4 games that are rated positively.
The light protects.
And 2 games that are mixed. And some more games that aren't rated. And I think that deserves it. Gives The Witch's Tales at least a little bit of credibility. So I'm thinking I should put it on the follow list and see where it goes. Whereas this game, Wish Giver, looks pretty awful. Looks like it's probably a cheap Chinese game, RPG maker. This might be the newer RPG maker engine. It's English and simplified Chinese, yeah. This one doesn't look good enough. And we could try and see some of the other games that they've developed, but they seem to all be Chinese only. Alright. So need this to go away.
Job's done.
See, I imagine this guy's letting me win, but I'm still probably not gonna be able to play this strategy like I'd like to. I'm gonna kill myself on accident. Is what's gonna happen.
Mushroom power!
Play this secret and do this. And then play this. And then turn. Next we have a game on Steam called Supply Chain Idol that looks incredibly boring. Just super boring. It's free to play, so I guess the price is right, but even at that it's dull. And speaking of dull, we have Desktop Dynasties Pro Football, and I guess maybe if I was into fantasy football, something like this might make some sense. So what this would really come down to, I guess, is how much of this game developer do I trust? Because I suspect the case is let's see, play that. And do that. And then do that. And yeah, in the turn. Yeah, I suspect this developer hasn't made anything else. Yeah, they haven't. And this game is early access for $15.99. It's not just fantasy football though. It does seem to have some plays that play out. So because of that, I'll put it on the phone list and we'll just see if maybe there's some really good reviews for it. We've got a game on Steam called Ocean's Treasures, which looks like it's a ocean simulator game. Again, this really is just going to come down to, while this looks somewhat pretty, it's going to come down to whether this developer has made anything else. It's a VR game too, and I think that kills the thought immediately. There.
Let the pain speak to me.
There we go. Yeah, this developer hasn't made anything else besides that. I don't think I need to keep an eye on Ocean's Treasures. Next we have a game that's not in English, it's only in Chinese. So I think it's called Magic Tower, but you wouldn't be able to find it that way, so I'll close that tab. Gamer Switcher has an article, Fortnite hits 8.3 million concurrent players. So yeah, that's a big number.
You require my assistance.
This. There we go. Let's see. Gamasutra has this similar article. Report Tencent dials back game marketing budget to weather China's game freeze. We'd already seen a similar story, so we don't need to cover that again. Let's see. We have a game on Steam called Brocat the Bee Game, which says it's like a memes game. Yeah, this feels very much like it's not a good quality game. Yeah, it seems pretty basic for $4.99. Yeah, don't need to be concerned with that. Okay. So we do this.
An incredible discovery.
And actually I could just win here. So I should just do that, yeah. Yep. Let's see. Gamasutra has a article, ex-EA design chief Patrick Sutherland unveils Embark Studios. So let's come back over here and just try to keep on playing. Token Druid. Let's see. So Patrick Sutherland, he was the founder of DICE also. It's a new development house that has, according to the press release, set its sights on using emerging technology to create new types of interactive entertainment and simulated virtual online worlds, which sounds like it's a VR company to me if I was to guess. And I think it would be pretty silly to start a VR company at this point.
I must protect the wild.
Maybe. If you've got a good idea, and if you got ideas for games, it could work. We have a game on Steam called Gamble of the Gods. Let's see. Looks like it's a top-down twin stick style of game. It doesn't look terrible, and it's free, so the price is right. This developer hasn't developed anything else, and this developer has just made a bunch of free games. Interesting. Like, what? I don't even know how to fit a company in my head. If it was a video game company that for many years made free games, like full free games. Like, I don't know how you would justify saying they're an actual business and not just calling them like a charity or a show house or something. Let's see. Lemon Lover came on the chat. He said, "Good day." Hi, Lemon Lover. I'm about to wrap up though. This is probably gonna be the last game. So sorry, I started early. I thought more people could watch if I started early, but apparently not. Perhaps I should just be consistent and happy with what I've got. Let's see. Next we have a game on Steam called Skettle, a Giant Party. Let's see. What kind of game is this? Looks like some kind of weird party game. Maybe a Mario. Yeah, it looks like a Mario Party style of game. Early access, $9.99. I think I leave that on the wish list. Yeah, even if it only has like 5 different party games in it, it's pretty polished and it looks like something I should at least keep an eye out for and see if people like it. I'm still trying to find a really good Mario Party clone on PC. Let's see if we do this. That won't really work. So we need to do something more like this. We have a game on Steam called Late O'Clock that looks like garbage. Just like really, really bad. It's free, but even at that, I wouldn't put it on the follow list. Just ugly. Alright, play this. I'm just trying to keep as many people on the field as possible. Couple more games. We have a game on Steam called Castle Re-Encounter that looks pretty basic. Looks like one of those Stickman games where you're just attacking left and right. It's 89 cents discounted, and it's from a developer who doesn't seem to have made anything else that interests me. So, okay. Do I play this? Or do I play this?
What to do?
It's possible that had I played this, I would have won
For the
in
wild.
that turn, but I'm not sure.
Job done.
And we have a game on Steam that clearly is a very low effort title. Unknown's Survival Player Battlegrounds. Clearly this is a low effort asset flip. It looks really good, like so many asset flips do these days. But yep, this is clearly just going for name misrecognition. And is this a straight up trolling? Does that fall under straight up trolling under Steam's description? I don't know, but my description I'd say totally. It's 59 cents discounted.
What?
It will almost certainly disappear from the Steam store pretty quickly. Let's see. If I do this, I would have 3 plus 2. So that's not enough. Do this. Do this. And do this. And do this.
For the wild.
Gamasutra has a bit of good news. The German government to establish a $57 million games fund, or that's 50 million euros, to help drive the country's creative industry. So it probably isn't 100% disconnected that it was only less than a year ago that the German censorship rating boards was basically saying video games aren't art, and thus any Nazi swastikas or SS bolts or anything like that on Nazi characters in video games had to be censored. That was the way it was for a very long time. They finally stopped saying that, enforcing that, and now all of a sudden Germany has a emerging video game industry as far as development that they're trying to support. And in fact, Gamasutra points that point out also, that there was a recently lifted ban on unconstitutional symbols, as they are called, and themes. $57 million isn't an incredibly large amount of money, but particularly when split between many different sources. But it certainly is the start of something, and Germany could probably make some pretty interesting games. Like Daedalic is the point-and-click developer that's, I believe, German, and I love their games. So okay. We have a TechRaptor article. The loud man, is the quiet man any better with sound? Because I guess they got to play the DLC that adds sound back into it. And let's see. let's see, the second to last paragraph here says, when I originally reviewed The Quiet Man, I gave it a 1 out of 10. If this version of the game, if this was the game I first reviewed, I probably would have given it a 3. So yes, The Quiet Man is better with sound. However, it really doesn't take much to be better than The Quiet Man. I would never recommend you play this game, and I'm still totally baffled at its existence. And we have a game on Steam called How About Spikes that looks like a very low effort platformer. Says it's a Metroidvania, but whatever it claims to be, it looks like MS Paint graphics. So yeah, this is not a game I'm gonna put on the wish list, the fall list. And that puts me at the end of this stream. I mean, I could certainly talk about the Humble Bundle. I could go on Twitter and look for new news, but I doubt there's a new Humble Bundle on Friday. I doubt there's any new news on Twitter that couldn't just wait until Friday. I did talk, I suppose, we could talk about this for a brief second, about this game and that was banned from Steam, mostly I think because the creator doesn't speak English, and I think unless the creator is lying about the actual content that is in it, which would be weird because from what they're saying it was already rated teen in Japan. So yeah, this game, The Key to Home, was removed from Steam, and it was removed again the second time. So I wanted to come over here and show it off just so you can see the art style, and I think that's the problem. And the problem about talking about an article like this is without showing some examples that are safe for work, you're kind of left wondering. And let's see if it shows any more pictures zoomed in. Yeah. So I think there's somebody doesn't like this art style. It gets down to like the concept of freedom of speech is to protect detestable speech. If you don't like this art style, okay, I get it. Like you don't like it, but that's why freedom of speech is supposed to exist. You can see also up here they had grabbed some snapshots of what the character of what the Steam page looked like, so I guess I could see if we could do that. And just see what the Steam page itself looked like. Like, it is slightly confusing that this is getting banned, and I think it really is mostly just a miscommunication. And Steam needs to better explain itself. Is it the angles? Is it the fashion choice? Is it what is it that they have the problem? Because without some form of guidelines, is it this one artist and his art styles that's the problem? Is that artist alone? And what's funny is this developer on Steam has another game that has been on Steam just fine. Now, is it this girl with her high fashion appearance? Or is it something much worse in the game? And this was a problem also with Omega Labyrinth Z. Without showing, without knowing, you don't know what this is. This is just a visual novel game with a different art style. Now, maybe this, let's say for speculation that this artist that drew that art style is known for like drawing animated pornography in the exact same art style. Does that really affect this game in any way? I don't think it does. Because that's not the content of that game. Like, there have been cases of comic book artists in the West who use photo reference pornography and just live action photographs. Does that inherently invalidate the comic books that were eventually created from that? Not completely, at least. Anyways, I just wanted to point that out because that is the one story that nobody's gonna report on. So yeah, that's it for this stream. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me, you can support me through Patreon down below, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.